Good afternoon to my 530 YouTube channel subscribers. Hope you guys are having a nice day, enjoying your Monday. I'm on my afternoon walk, which is another 2.6 miles. I already did 2.6 miles this morning, so it's going to be 5.2 miles by the time I finish my walk for the day. And the afternoon topic that I seen a lot of people was interested about my eBay videos that I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick video on tips and tricks for selling on eBay and selling at sports car shows. And to give you a little background, I started collecting, buy, selling, and trading cars in 1980 at the age of 5. And I set up at car shows from, I would say, the mid 80s to about mid 80s. I say from 1985 to 1995 or so, I set up at car shows. And so I have a lot of experience with cars. And but to be honest with you guys, I would say that all the years of buying and selling cars, I would say I'd be lucky if I broke even. So this is not an experience on how to make a huge profit off of sports cars, because if you want to, the people who's making the most off of sports cars is eBay. eBay makes the most profit selling sports cars. PSA Grading makes a lot of money selling sports cars, and Fanatics makes a lot of money selling sports cars. So that's the main. If you want to really make money selling sports cars, you need to make you something like eBay to buy, sell, and trade. You need to make you a whole app that's gonna buy, sell, and trade if you really want to make money, or come up with a grading company that'd be more popular than PSA, or come with a company that could print baseball cards. But all that's a monopoly. So I mean, that's, your chances of doing that slim to none. But then it is still, it's some, I would say, maybe 1 to 5% of sports car resellers make a profit. I would say 5% or less of average people can make over a year's time is gonna make a profit selling cards. And I'll tell you the best way that the biggest profits I ever made off of selling sports car was at the 2019 National Convention. I bought 4 2018 Bowman Shohei Ohtani rookie cards, and I paid like $15 for the 4 cars. They came out to about $3 a piece or so, and then I was selling them after holding them for a couple years, I sold one for 80, one for 100, one for 120, and one for 140. So that's a big profit, and that's the biggest profit that I made. And I've been selling sports cars full time for the last 6 years. But then you have to think, driving from Springfield, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois, the gas, the $40 for the toll booths, a hotel for 5 nights was like $1,000. So then the profits that I made off of selling them cars didn't pay for my the expenses that it costs to buy them cars. Okay. But the cars that I made the most money on selling was the cars that I might buy for $5 and then resell them for $40 or something like that. That was some of my biggest gains. However, whenever I buy the more expensive cars for like $100 or $150, cars that I really like, I tend to lose money on them. And most of the people that's at the sports car shows, they're actually, when they're selling, they're losing money. And another tip or trick to be, if you wanted to make money, is be a promoter and do your own car shows in an area that has no car shows. But it's a lot of people that go to Walmart and buy cards. You might be able to turn a profit as a show promoter if your area doesn't have a show already. So that might be a way to make profit, okay? And so some tips and tricks on eBay that I've learned. the mistakes mainly you could learn from my mistakes on selling for eBay is that one mistake I made was getting a $60 a month eBay store. That was too it's not worth the money. I would suggest just using don't have any type of store on eBay and just use the 125 free listings a month. I said that would be some good advice. Also, I had a problem using their automated tool that relisted a bunch of cars that I had. This was years ago when I first started on eBay, and my friend suggested, oh, do this automated tool and you could sell the car, you could relist the cars. And sorry for the noise pollution. But yeah, it is. So I relisted the car. Some of them I had already sold, and it was a big headache. That was 6 years ago, but I learned my lesson ever since. And then I had 100% positive feedback on eBay for over 5 years. Then I had some other advice. Another thing is, don't listen to nobody's advice, because usually it's bad. You know, as I'm giving advice, right? So I had this seller message me on eBay. He said he was trying to get a deal on this card. It was like $15. It was like $15. He was like, man, you could sell it to me for $10, and you could just use the $20 eBay shipping, standard shipping for cars underneath $20, and it won't be no problem. I said, no thanks, I won't do that. But then I was like, man, I'll save a lot of money, because first class shipping for graded cars is $4.50. And let's say I paid $5 for a car, then I'll sell it on eBay for $10, and then the person has to pay $11. Then you got to pay 15% of $11, which is like $3. And then you have to pay $4.50 for shipping. So if you buy a car for $5 and you sell it for $10, and you use first class shipping, you're gonna lose money every time. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and I had other sellers sending me cars, graded cars for $1.08 shipping, and I was like, let me try that. And then so I just accepted all the offers. I sold like 250 listings in a month. And I say it was like 300. It was like 250, 300 listings that I sold for cheap, and I passed the savings on to the sellers. And that was the worst. At first, I was super happy, but then it was a huge mistake, because like 16 of them cars didn't get there in time, and the buyer got to keep the card, and I had to pay for the shipping. I didn't get the car back, and it was just a huge headache. And then one day I had to spend like 10 hours just emailing people why their cars are running late. And then I got like 2 negative feedbacks. And that was a horrible thing. And then also, another mistake that I made from car shows to eBay is that I sell a car at a car show, and I usually take pictures of them. And then when I get home, I take them off my eBay. But I got 1,500 listings, and every once in a while I won't catch one. And then you sell the same item on eBay that's already been sold at the car show. That's the biggest mistake you could make. And then you got to dig through your inventory all these hours trying to find a car that you don't have, that you sold at the car show. You probably didn't even make a profit. You already probably lost money selling at the car show. Then you got to spend all these hours looking for it, and then you don't have it. And then then you gotta cancel your order on eBay. The person's mad, negative feedback. You get a mark on your thing, on your eBay store, and then you become a below, because I was a top rated plus seller for 5 years. Now, to be honest, I'm a below average seller, which is embarrassing. But then you gotta pay like 25% fees and all that. So it just adds up a lot. So my advice would be, if I had to go do it all over again, I would don't invest the smallest amount of money as you can into sports cars. Don't invest a lot of money. That's your first mistake. And don't get a large inventory. Keep your inventory very small. And if it's not your personal collection, don't say that, because that'll just fuel the addiction. When you say, oh, this is my PC, this is my PC. Because then you have an excuse for spending all your money on cars. because you plan on reselling them, even if it's your PC. If it's a card, you know what, a PC card, if you want to keep that card when you die, you want to bury with it in your casket, that's your personal collection card. If you don't want to get buried with that card, then you're aiming to resell it at some point in time to buy another card. And so I would say, and that's another thing, if you do a lot of transactions, the more transactions you do, the more money you're going to lose. If you do like 10 transactions a year, you're probably not going to lose that much money. But if you do 500 transactions, 1,000 transactions, 2,000 transactions a year, you're probably going to lose money. Because it's just so much fees and selling fees and cost of fees and all the supplies, when you do all the math and you do all the numbers, it's so hard really to make a profit. It is a way you can make a profit, but like I said, you have to invest a minimum amount of money, very little money to do invest in sports cards, and you should have an inventory very small. Like you should have, less than 100 cards in your inventory. And then you can have your inventory very organized, and then you should sell through your cards every month. You know what I mean? All the cards you got, sell them all. Before you buy any more cards, sell every single card that you have. Then go buy some more cards, and then sell all them cards before you buy another card. Now, if you do that, then you'll be able to see if you're making a profit or not. But if you just keep buying cards, investing your money, 5 years later, you're going to look up and see, God, I spent all that time, I ain't make no money, And with minimum wage is now $15 to $20 an hour at Taco Bell. So you got to think, like, if you're working on eBay, you need to be making at least $15 an hour, $20 an hour. Plus you got to pay taxes. So really you need to be making like $50 an hour. If you really want to make a profit. If you're not making $50 an hour selling sports cards, it's probably not for you if you're trying to make a profit. And also, when you buy at margins, you need to buy like at 25% of eBay comps, because the time and supplies, unless you're okay making $1 an hour, you know what I mean? If you buy 80% comps, then you're probably going to be making like a couple dollars an hour. That's okay if you're okay with that. But if you got bills to pay, then you might want to consider something else. So, but I would say sports cards is best as a hobby. If you just do it as a hobby, you can really enjoy it. But even if you're doing it for a hobby, just keep your transactions less than 10 transactions a year, and you can really enjoy the hobby. But if you're making hundreds of sales a year, it's going to be stressful. It's going to cost you a lot of money. You're probably going to lose money. And then after so many years, you're not going to enjoy the hobby. So that's what I would suggest. If you just keep it a hobby, you don't mind losing the money every dollar that you spend. If you spend $1,000 on sports cards, if you can lose that whole $1,000, then it's not going to leave a bitter taste in your mouth to spend that $1,000. But if it does, you might want to reconsider that. And then if you spend $10 and you're okay if that $10 turns into nothing, then go ahead and spend that $10. But I just wanted to share a couple little quick tips about eBay. And I'll keep sharing if you guys keep liking this kind of content. And I'll get my, eventually after I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll get my blackboard out and I'll show you guys all my sales and stuff. And my eBay store is Slinger Sports at eBay. If you guys want to look up my store, I just deleted I had 1,500 listings, but my store closes on April 30th. So I've been deleting all my listings. And then I'm just going to do 125 free listings. And I'm just going to put big lots on there. So if you got any questions, leave a comment. And I hope you guys have a nice day.